Hi, I'm Vivek Radhakrishnan. I'm consultant and faculty at the Aster Oncology Center of Excellence at Cochin in Kerala. My expertise is medical and hemato-oncology and bone marrow transplant. The health indices in Kerala have always been among the top rung in the country. As Kerala, life expectancy in Kerala and other health indicators have consistently been good. The new challenges that we face as clinicians in Kerala is an increasing burden of non-communicable diseases, of which cancer is emerging as a serious health issue in the state. Um, Life expectancy in Kerala has improved from the national averages to almost the range of 70 to 75. So you have people who are living longer, and one of the most potent risk factors for cancer is longevity. So we are seeing cancers in the elderly population, and we have increasing numbers of cancers. Accompanied by that, changing patterns in lifestyle have also seen serious increases in the incidence of lifestyle associated cancers like breast cancers, cancers of the gastrointestinal tract, and lung cancers especially. So in this fast changing scenario, I think that as a community of physicians and as a state, we have to gear up to face the increasing burden of cancer and find ways to tackle them. Health management in Kerala has always been among the uh, good sectors in the state, in the sense that the health indices being so good, there is a robust healthcare system at the primary, secondary, and tertiary level. There are centers which are doing an excellent job in the state. If you look that way, in the government sector, there are centers like the Regional Cancer Center, which has been a national referral center for cancers, and in the private sector also there are many centers which are doing a great job in cancer management, which includes the MIMS, Malabar Institute of Medical Sciences, Amrita Institute of Medical Sciences, Lakeshore Hospital, the KIMS group, and as well, and we have entered the scenario in the past 2 years at Aster Medcity. So if you look at these are most of these are comprehensive cancer centers which have all three clinical disciplines and associated disciplines of oncology, medical, surgical, and radiation oncology, and two of these centers, that is including us, have a bone marrow transplant facility as well. So in terms of access to healthcare and the facilities available, Kerala has about all the facilities that are required for treatment of patients with cancer. Obviously, because there are dividends of being a 100% literal state, the awareness about cancer is quite high among the general population. In my practice, I find the awareness for cancer and cancer related symptoms among patients to be quite robust, and there is an increasing pool of patients who are volunteering for screening programs. Now, as a responsible comprehensive cancer center, and Aster Medcity is trying to do its bit in that we have identified some panchayats and some districts for our comprehensive screening and registry database of patients with cancer symptoms, and we are offering patients free cancer screening camps, and we have been successful in about 2 or 3 panchayats close to the hospital, and we are gradually expanding it to the other districts of the state. From the government side, even the regional cancer center has got its early cancer detection centers, and all the major hospitals in the state run cancer detection camps. So in terms of awareness and screening programs that are available, Kerala is in the forefront, but I would suppose that that is not sufficient, because the burden is going to increase in the coming years, and that has to increase. The service has to increase. The challenges we face is one of numbers, that there are the demand for service is high and the available centers that can provide medical oncology related services are few. So most good centers are busy, and that means that there are some patients who have to be turned away, or treatment delays can be seen in some situations. The second thing is, of course, being a middle income country, we have our issues with affordability of cancer care. That is a serious challenge for most of our patients, at least in the private sector care hospitals, where affordability is an issue. So many patients even today have to flock to government centers and seek different health schemes that are run by government for affordable cancer care. Initially, we found difficulties in setting up infrastructure that was required for medical oncology related cancer treatments, but with the advent of comprehensive cancer centers in the state, it is less, I would say, of a problem, in that most of these comprehensive cancer centers have very good facilities for treatment. Apex centers like ours and Amrita hospitals even have bone marrow transplant facilities. So which encompasses the whole gamut of all cancer care services under one roof, and we also have the benefit of having multidisciplinary support which helps us deliver better care to these patients. We are a comprehensive cancer center in the sense that we have the three key areas of cancer treatment service in terms of medical oncology, radiation oncology, and surgical oncology. In the radiation oncology segment, we have one of the latest machines called the True Beam Linear Accelerator, which is cutting edge in itself. And to aid the radiation oncologists, we have the most advanced software which enables them to even practice high precision radiotherapy like stereotactic body radiotherapy and stereotactic radiosurgery services. There is also the brachytherapy service and a good complement from the nuclear medicine service which helps them plan better. If you look at medical oncology, we have the entire gamut of service from pediatric medical oncology up to the adult and geriatric medical oncology service. So we have a full-fledged daycare chemotherapy service, we have inpatient chemotherapy service, we have high dose chemotherapy service, we are administering the latest in the immunotherapy and newer targeted therapies, and we are able to personalize chemotherapy to most of our patients. The icing on the cake is that we have a full-fledged state-of-the-art 9-bedded bone marrow transplant service with a dedicated stem cell apheresis unit, a cryopreservation unit, which enables us cover the entire spectrum of bone marrow transplants, from autologous bone marrow transplants to allogenic to haploidentical, and the possibility of starting newer cellular therapies as well. If you look at surgical oncology is site specific in our hospital. Very few centers in India have site specific disciplines of surgical oncology. So we have the breast and gynec oncology service, we have the GI, gastrointestinal oncology service, we have the genitourinary oncology service, we have the neuro-oncology service, and what is unique to Kerala, we also have a dedicated orthopedic oncology service apart from the pediatric surgery and pediatric oncosurgery service. So that gives us a niche area in the area of comprehensive cancer treatment service in Kerala. And we have the accompaniments that are required in comprehensive cancer care. We have a good early detection cancer screening service. We have a good psycho-oncology support. We have an imaging department which is complementary to the requirements of the service here. We have a 3 Tesla MRI machine, we have a CT, we have a PET CT machine which is time of flight sequence PET CT machines. We have a nuclear therapy, that is high dose iodine, lutetium therapies that are available. So as a physician, I feel that we have an accomplished service, and we have an excellent group of surgeons, and a team of radiation and medical oncologists are probably on par with the best in the country. As I told you, as I mentioned earlier, the bone marrow transplant service is a state-of-the-art 9-bedded bone marrow transplant service with a class 100 to class 1000 HEPA filtered transplant service, which can boast of the latest in technology. We have a dedicated stem cell apheresis unit, we have a dedicated stem cell cryopreservation unit, we have a dedicated team of bone marrow transplant nursing, which is trained in some of the best centers in the country. And probably unique to Kerala, we have a dedicated pediatric bone marrow transplant service apart from the adult transplant service. So the adult transplant service, my colleagues and I handle. We have a pediatric hematologist who handles the pediatric bone marrow transplant service as well. Haploidentical transplant is the most feasible alternative donor bone marrow transplants in India, according to most of us in the bone marrow transplant service, because one, it is feasible and practical, because a parent or a sibling or a donor or a child is definitely half matched with the patient. So the access to a donor is easier, and with the advent of newer technologies and newer methods, we are able to do haploidentical transplants in a much safer and cost effective manner. So for those patients for whom we don't have matched donors, in India at least, we feel that haploidentical transplantation is the future, because of the availability of the donor and the cost effective approaches that we have in the service. So that makes it possible for all transplant physicians in India to offer bone marrow transplant irrespective of the fact whether the patient has a matched donor or does not have a donor. In the transplant field, the challenges again are basically about setting up the infrastructure can be a challenge in the sense that there are very few transplant centers in the country, so the know-how to set up a bone marrow transplant unit is limited to a very small section of trained physicians. So that takes me to the second point, where goes to the fact that there are very few trained bone marrow transplant physicians. So to run a service, you need a team of transplant physicians. The third issue is awareness about bone marrow transplant even among the medical community is very little. It is only in the cities that physicians or medical practitioners are even aware of the fact that bone marrow transplantation is being done in the country. So if you go to the mofussils and the smaller towns, they are not even aware of the fact that bone marrow transplantation is being done in this country. And so having said about the medical fraternity knowing about bone marrow transplants, you cannot expect patients to be aware of the fact that bone marrow transplantation as a medical treatment methodology is existent. So it takes a lot of effort for the oncologist as well as the bone marrow transplant physician to explain what bone marrow transplantation is all about to the patient. If you look at from another angle of the logistics of bone marrow transplant, it is one of the most expensive treatment methodologies in cancer treatment. So on an average in most private centers, an allogenic matched bone marrow transplant costs somewhere around 13 to 15 lakhs. So which is not affordable by a majority of our patients who require bone marrow transplants, and alternative donor transplants are even more expensive to handle. So financial logistics, financial constraints in the family of patients always are restrictive to the patient to even consider or think about bone marrow transplant. That is by far one of the major challenges that we face as bone marrow transplant physicians. And fortunately or unfortunately, bone marrow transplant facilities have to run in centers which have multidisciplinary medical specialty support. So standalone cancer centers cannot run a bone marrow transplant service effectively unless they are supported by a group of ancillary medical specialties which can help them during crisis. So in our knowledge, bone marrow transplant centers thrive in a multi-speciality center like Aster MedCity, where we have multidisciplinary support from the entire super specialty service of gastroenterology, nephrology, pulmonology, dermatology, etc., which are often involved in the supportive care of patients who require bone marrow transplant. A very good blood bank service. Very few centers have got good blood bank centers. So blood banking is another challenge, and we are fortunate to have a service that rises up to the occasion when we require a good blood banking service for our bone marrow transplant patients. So these are some of the common challenges that we face in the bone marrow transplant segment. If you look at medical oncology, because I can speak on behalf of medical oncologists, we are at a stage in the evolution of medical oncology where we have a plethora of newer drug molecules that have come, which are paradigm changing. There was a time when there were no conventional chemotherapeutic drugs that could be used for cancer patients, and then there was a surge and wave of conventional chemotherapeutic drugs that came into the system, into the practice of medical oncology. And now we are looking at a new wave of molecular targeted treatments, small molecular inhibitors, monoclonal antibodies, immunotherapies, the cellular therapies, which are in many ways paradigm changing in terms of the treatment principles that we have been practicing. So if the very senior faculties can be believed, in another 5 to 10 years you will see that we as medical oncologists will be using lesser and lesser of conventional chemotherapeutic drugs, and we'll be using more and more of these molecular targeted drugs. This also gives us a unique advantage in that when we are using molecular information, today is the age of molecular medicine. So today, right from diagnostics to prognostics to an emerging discipline called theranostics, we are able to get molecular information out of tumors. And when we have molecular information out of tumors, we are talking about precision medicine. So if you have person X with lung cancer and person Y with lung cancer, the molecular information that you get from these two cancers can be entirely different. So you cannot go with the approach of one size fits all. So certain molecular features of a cancer have to be treated in a particular way, whereas the other cancers have to be treated in a different way. So if you have more and more molecular information, we are able to personalize medicine. And I think as a medical specialty, medical oncology and hematology are areas where personalization of medicine is happening in so rapidly that we have to keep ourselves on our toes to be abreast with what's happening in the field. So what is going to happen in the next few years is that personalized medicine in oncology and hematology is going to be the dharma of practicing medical oncology and hematology, and it is going to happen sooner than later. And as a country and as a group of physicians, we have to be abreast with this information and data and have access to these drugs and technologies.